let's talk about living in tune with the seasons and the seasonal changes. Why is this important? How can it help you? Well, first of all, it helps us stay in tune with the natural rhythms of the earth and the cycles of the earth, as well as the energy shifts. The energy shifts are always happening. We can just look to astrology for that, whether we're in the season of Aries or the season of Libra or Scorpio. That energy affects us. But also just the energy shifts of the seasons are really powerful. They help us manifest, they help us with even our internal development, and our bodies are internally and externally are actually very in tune with the seasons, and the more that we know about them, the more we can actually support ourselves through the shifts. They affect our energy, they affect our diet, and even our physical and emotional needs. And our ancestors actually knew this very well. They didn't have a choice but to be in rhythm with them, because there weren't supermarkets, houses weren't quite so warm or so cool. So they really had to work with that instead of sort of isolating themselves and fighting against nature. They didn't try so much to control everything. They went into the flow of things. Again, not always by choice, but by what they needed to survive. And our technology has evolved so much faster than the human body, than human evolution, that we actually are very disconnected from nature right now. And the more we are in tune with nature, and you can see my past videos on that, then actually the more we thrive. So this is very important, and we are seeing more and more illnesses, diseases, both physical and mental, emotional, pop up from this disconnection. And there's been a lot of science and a lot of research about that, anxiety, depression, other things as well, physical illnesses, when we get more and more separate from nature and the natural world. So every season sort of has its own energy, and as spring begins and we start the new zodiac year in Aries, both of those energies are very much about freshness and rebirth, new beginnings, sort of planting your seeds, either physically in a garden or kind of making new intentions and really getting clear about what you want. So it's a lot of really wonderful, really exciting energy. And I'm referring to all of these seasonal things from the perspective of the northern hemisphere, where I am. So it's just a lot more motivation. People are kind of usually ready to come out of their shells, out of their homes, sort of re-engage, become more social, and it aligns with the element. Spring aligns with the element of air. So again, all of these new beginnings and sort of this fresh dawn, animals becoming more active, the earth starting to bloom again, and all the fertility, abundance coming back, but it's a time really of fertility, and we see flowers blooming and baby animals everywhere. So very kind of refreshing energy. Summer is aligned with the element of fire. And it's really about joy and abundance, taking it easy, living in the moment. Although, for a lot of us, it's a more active time of the year. There's a lot more going on. But just, it's really about joy and celebration of, as we sort of look back again to our ancestors, summer was a time when things were available. They could, food was available, plentiful, the animals had returned, where winter is was more of a time of scarcity with things. So it was really enjoying the warmth, enjoying what you had. The work was already done of planting seeds in the fields. It wasn't quite to harvest season. So it was a time of getting together, sharing. So really just very joyful energy. Fall is aligned with the element of water, and, sun setting, things changing, letting go. So it almost also has a sort of refreshing, vibrant energy as well, because it is time to let things go, to let go of pressure, expectations, things that no longer serve you emotionally, mentally, physically, to prepare yourself for the oncoming winter and what is going to weigh you down or burden you through kind of the longer, darker part of the year. So if we think of trees losing their leaves, because if they didn't, their ice would form on them. Again, like in the colder areas of the world, ice forms on them and it would actually break the branches off. So they shed their leaves to be able to survive, thrive, and they don't need their leaves in the winter. So, so fall is also a time of gratitude. It's a time of harvesting everything that you've planted, being grateful for what you've accumulated, taking stock of things. So this too can have kind of this refreshing energy as we kind of shift. And then going into winter, it's aligned with the element of the direction of north, the element of earth. And it's a time of really going within, nurturing, healing, doing any sort of soul growth, spiritual development, getting really in tune with yourself. And it's just more of a quieter kind of, they call it, the death cycle phase. So hibernation, spending time with family, looking at what you want to prioritize, what you want to, again, kind of what you no longer need and what you're going to want to do as spring approaches again, both emotionally, mentally, physically. So how can you observe the seasons and be more in tune with them? One is just meditation, feeling the energy, feeling the shifts in a very observant way, instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, this is so strong and overwhelming. Just how are you feeling? Are you feeling excited and rejuvenated? Are you feeling a little bit like, I just need to take care of myself and nurture myself? But eating seasonally, local farmers markets, spring, summer, fall, very helpful. They even have, even in the colder climates, farmers markets in the winter, with a lot of canned goods and crafts and that kind of thing. But eating seasonally is very helpful. We can look at that. Modern dietitians and nutritionists talk about it. Ayurvedic, Chinese medicine talk about it. Your body has different needs. We can even just look at that from your liver and the insulin production. And the amount of like sunshine and things we get, we need more vitamin D. So you really do have different physical, emotional needs, mental needs in the different seasons. So eating seasonally incorporates more of the nutrients that is readily available to us in a natural way that is more supportive than eating things that are out of that season. Doesn't mean you can't eat things from exotic places all the time, but eating seasonally really is supportive, and it also, again, gets you more in tune with those seasonal changes. We always think of like pumpkin spice, but pumpkin pies, apples, gourds, squashes in the fall, starting to make soups again. It's kind of more carbs in the winter, more root vegetables, more things that are kind of canned, again, soups and stews, hearty things that kind of have more calories to help us burn, to help keep us warm when it's cold out, that kind of thing. In most places, winter is, colder than the summer and spring and fall. And then, spring, it's really a time of, there's a lot of spring vegetables, English peas come up, the herbs are starting to come up. I'm trying to think, I should know this, but I'm trying to think of more spring type of, vegetables and foods. But we are starting to eat more fresh again, more lively foods than we did in winter, kind of lighter foods. And then for summer, we tend to eat a lot of fresh fruits and veggies. We tend to go to barbecues and grill outs a lot. It's a lot about sharing and getting together with people. It is during other holidays, the holiday season and stuff in the winter, but from January to, to the summer period, a lot of people do a little less peopling. So, food is more abundant. We tend to sometimes, it changes. Sometimes we eat healthier, sometimes we don't, just depending on what run we are. But and then fall, again, back to fall. So berries, that kind of thing during the summer. So really looking at what is readily available to you, what is seasonal, and focusing on that. Changing up your clothes, making sure you have you wash all the fall clothes at the end of fall, the winter clothes at the end of winter, put it away so you can really kind of come back into the seasons of just feeling good, clean clothes, but getting really excited about your different wardrobes. And that doesn't mean having to be trendy and buy new wardrobe every season, but having certain pieces that you're like, oh, I can't wait to wear my sweaters, or oh, I can't wait to wear my tank tops again. But that can even just add some excitement. Living seasonally can really bring the joy back into life. It gives you something to look forward to. It gives you something to be grateful for, something that just makes you excited, every couple months. So it can bring so much joy and excitement back into life. So decorating, that's one of my favorite things to do seasonally, is changing things up. I do it kind of each holiday as well, but I love decorating with pumpkins and gourds and fall stuff for fall, and then Halloween. Lots of decorations for Halloween, and lots of decorations for Thanksgiving, Yule or Christmas, a lot of decorations for that. And then I decorate, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, the spring equinox, and then, moving into summer and kind of a lot of plants and gardening, and then back into fall again. So it can be very fun and exciting to kind of have those decorations out. You don't even have to spend a lot of money. I get a lot of my decorations just out in nature with pumpkins and gourds and acorns and pine cones and branches that you can decorate or spray paint and that kind of thing. It looks amazing. You don't have to buy them online. It's all available to you. So but yeah, and then actually celebrating the holidays, and whether those are the power days and the natural holidays, or are kind of man-made holidays, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, whatever that is for you, then, that's all. It's a lot of fun celebrating, and certain ones, Thanksgiving, I celebrate more as Gratitude Day, not necessarily kind of the taboo and sort of fictitious version of the Pilgrims and Indians coming together, which is great in theory, but more of it's a time to celebrate being together with family, to share food. We usually host because we're both chefs for Thanksgiving, so it's a time for us to bring family in, to cook for everybody, to provide everything, and just to be together when it's usually a colder part of the year. So really, yeah, just finding ways to celebrate Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas or Yule, or the spring equinox and the power days. It brings a lot. It looks something to look forward to, and it just brings joy. Exercising, you're exercising, changing throughout the year. You have different exercise needs throughout the year as well. Your body has different needs, and so making sure that you exercise, but doing it in seasonal ways can be really fun. So doing things like swimming in the summer, going skiing or sledding, snowshoeing in the winter. Obviously there's activities we can do year round, like walking, jogging. It's a little bit tricky in the winter with icy roads, but yeah, being able to do those things, go apple picking in the fall, and in spring go mushroom hunting, making sure you know what's poisonous and what's not. But so that can be a lot of fun, getting physical movement in, not just going to the gym year round, inside doing the same mechanical movements and exercise machines. So yeah, and just taking part in those fun activities, whether there's a lot of exercise or not, but getting outdoors, being in nature as much as possible in different ways, and really observing that time, observing the sunsets and the dawns and how the time is changing. All of that, it really just brings you back. It's so good for your mental and emotional health to be living in the rhythms of nature, and with the natural world and the earth, and you will see a difference as well for your overall just well-being. So I hope that gives you a little bit more information on the seasonal changes, how it can be helpful, how it can bring joy into your life, and some different ways to do it.